Welcome to Going Beyond, and it always makes me very happy that you're joining us on this program. Now, mental health is an issue around the world, and here in India, we're not that far behind. And so therefore, to talk about mental health as a whole, and specifically what it really means, I have in my studio a young entrepreneur. His name is Karthik Manikonda, and he started a business 5 years ago that revolves around mental health. So I'm going to let him explain to me what this is all about. Thank you so much, Karthik. Thank you for coming.
It's a pleasure talking to you always, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you very much indeed. So by profession, you're a chartered accountant.
Yeah.
So when did this mental health avatar actually get to you?
So this happened a little before COVID. So to give you the exact instance,
Yes.
a friend of mine whom I knew for many years went through a suicide attempt. He's totally fine now, but it was then which it shocked all of us, and only then I realized the importance of mental health. And I wasn't that happy at my corporate job. I used to go to office on Monday and get back home on a Wednesday or Thursday. So I used to sleep in office for a few days.
Terrible.
That's how
That's
it was.
terrible.
Yeah, that's how it was being a consultant. And people used to normalize that, but it wasn't normal for me. So I started seeking therapy, and it changed my perspective about life. And I ended my corporate tenure. I didn't know what to do, so I started a mental health Instagram page called The Mind and Company. So the purpose of the page was just to spread awareness about mental health. And initially there was a few people who seeked out therapy on that page. This happened in initial years of COVID. And back then one guy reached out saying he wanted therapy, and we sent him the Zoom link and he paid us 1,000 rupees. And after that he was like, how will you apply oil on Zoom? So he thought it was massage therapy. So that's when I realized, okay, people in India still don't know what the meaning of therapy is.
Yes.
And I thought, let me invest all my little savings into the company, and that's when we started the Mind and Company.
Right. But mental health, to a lot of us, the uninitiated, really almost stems from somebody who's not mentally okay. So am I thinking right on this point?
You're absolutely right. So people even today think that mental health or therapy is only for people who are going through tough times. Yes, it's for people who are going through tough times, but also for people who are looking completely normal, to prevent something from happening in the future. For example, we all do a general health checkup every year, right?
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, so why not do a general mental health checkup every year?
What would that involve?
So that will be like for a physical health, you do a blood test and check all your vitals
Parameters and all the
if
parameters,
it's fine.
yes.
And if it's not fine, you start taking supplements and start working on it. So same way, when you go talk to a psychologist, they do a few basic assessments for you and just ask a few questions for 1 or 2 hours, a couple of sessions, and if you're good to go, they'll be like, you don't need therapy at all. So a lot of people just come to therapy to check if they're doing all right.
So what did this lead you into then, starting from the first person whom you dealt with?
When that happened, when I realized that a guy who wanted therapy and he thought it was for massage, that's when I decided I'll start the company full time. In Jan 2021 is when we incorporated as a private limited company, and we started hiring people. I started getting interns, therapists on social media, and it grew in a bootstrap manner for the first 3 to 4 years.
What do you mean by therapist when you say that word? My mind immediately goes to somebody who's not a psychiatrist, right? That would be the wrong explanation, right?
Correct. So when it comes to therapist, we have 3 types of therapists. To name them, we have a psychologist who's like, let's say, level 1. Then we have a clinical psychologist who's level 2, and then psychiatrist who's level 3. So anybody who comes for initial support, be it relationship issues or work-life balance or any career-related issues, that's level 1. They talk to a counseling psychologist. When we realize that this person may need a little more serious help, if they go to level 2, like a senior psychologist, we call them as a clinical psychologist, who may diagnose you for, let's say, OCD or bipolar, any drug addiction. They go to a clinical psychologist, and that also is only through talk, and we get through it because we are a little more experienced.
Right.
And only when we feel somebody needs medication support, we go to the psychiatrist.
Okay.
But in Indian movies, it's shown as psychiatrist, and people think therapy is medication, but that's the last stage on need basis.
Do you believe that in India, people are slightly infra-dig about even accepting that I have this wrong with me and I need to see a specialist? Have you found that that's a stumbling block?
Yes, I saw some reports of WHO which said about 80% of people who are going through mental health problems don't even know they're going through it.
Really?
Yeah. And in India, if I go to a gym, I'm proud to say I'm going to gym and working out. But if I'm talking to my therapist, I don't even want my close friends or family to know about it.
Because here, of course, we interpret mental health as being off your rocker.
Exactly.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
And
So I think only when people start proudly saying that I'm going to therapy, it gets normalized. And I'm happy with the younger generation today that who are very proud about going to therapy.
Really, you find that a lot of young people
Yes.
come to you?
Yeah, especially in teenagers and early 20s. We do get a lot of young adults. So most of our clientele are in the age group of 18 to 30 from metros across the world.
Right. But it must be quite expensive, isn't it?
So it is expensive in the West. So if you see in the West, it's about 20,000-30,000 in Indian rupees per session. But
Per session?
Per session
That's
in the West.
Expensive.
When we convert the dollars
Right.
to rupees.
Yeah, sure.
But here we've kept it affordable. So at the Mind & Company, our tagline is affordable and accessible. So it starts at 500 rupees per session. And I think that's cheaper than
fair.
a Domino's pizza.
Yeah, yes,
Yeah.
that's true. That's a good idea. So what does the Mind & Company actually do? First of all, let me ask you about the name itself. It's very interesting. Where did you get it from?
So my wife named it, but the concept is very simple. So when you're going through something, which part of your body goes through the most stress? It's your mind.
Your mind, of course.
So at that point, you need some company, right? So that's why we named it the Mind & Company.
Oh, the Mind & Company. So the company is the psychologist part, is it?
Yeah. So we give you company to your mind.
Okay. So tell me that when they write into you, it's online?
It's predominantly online. We also do it offline. So how it works is we have a website and we are now building an app. So it's like how if you want to book a cab, you
Yes.
go to the Uber or Ola and you just book a cab and it comes in 10 minutes.
Correct.
Or if you want to like order eggs to your house,
Yes.
you use this 𝐓𝐡𝐞 and I think they deliver it in 10-15 minutes. But today, if you need mental health support, you got to wait hours or days. So our goal is you build an app and you raise a request for a therapy session and we match you with the right psychologist as soon as possible.
Right.
So as of today, we have about 80 psychologists on our platform.
Wow.
So when there's a need, we connect you with the right psychologist. But our goal in the coming years is to build it to about 4,000 to 5,000 psychologists. So there's a psychologist available anytime you need them.
I was reading somewhere that you have relationship psychologists. Is that prevalent in India?
So if you just go to Google and search the search history as to top reasons why people go to therapy, rank 1 is relationship issues.
Really?
There's no rank 2 and 3. The next is rank 10. So if you total up everything else, still relationship is on top. So the trend is so different. Everything around relationship, pre-marriage, post-marriage. So that's one thing for which people come to therapy most.
Tell me, Karthik, in these past 5 years, how many people would you have put in touch with psychologists?
So in these 5 years, we would have helped close to 5,000 people who have connected with a psychologist. But beyond that, we have given awareness for at least 30,000-40,000 through our Instagram and talking
Right.
about mental health.
Right. Do you have people who actually call you and talk to you physically, or is it all just an online and they don't know who you are or you don't know who they are? How does that work?
We know them, so they reach out in 3 ways. One, they can just call us. We have a number on the company's website, or they WhatsApp us, or they DM on Instagram, or they can just go to the website and make their booking.
Really? Okay. Do you find the numbers growing?
Yes.
Really? What would you say is the most common issue in terms of mental health in our country?
Okay, in our country, if I have to pick the top 3, I've already told relationship is
The
number
relationship,
1.
yes.
A second is work-life balance for people working in the IT and corporate, the work-life balance. And third is existential crisis.
Which means?
Which people are like, I don't know what my future looks like. So anxiety about the future, about their career, especially for people in their early 20s. They don't know how their 30s and 40s are going to look like. And because of social media pressure, they get more anxious, they get the FOMO of missing out on things. So it's relationship, work-life balance and existential crisis, like what happens in the future to me.
Okay, what will be?
Yeah.
What will be?
And that's one of the top reasons for this is social media. So because people start comparing their lives with everybody out there, they start having that anxiety inside.
So social media is not a great thing really when you talk about it,
Yeah.
when you think about it like this,
Exactly.
isn't it?
But we cannot stay away from it, so we'll have to learn to live it.
Necessary evil.
Yeah, exactly. That's the right word.
So when you talk about work-life balance, do you, as a company, ever deal with the companies to get them to improve this work-life balance for their employees?
So we cater to individuals on a one-to-one support for mental health. Beyond that, we also support schools, colleges and corporates. So
Really?
we support a lot of companies to provide better mental health for their employees. But the challenge there is companies do sign up with us. Let's say we recently signed up with a company called ADP India, pretty big one in India, and we signed up for mental health support with them. But even then, a lot of employees resist taking mental health support because they're scared that what if my HR or boss finds out?
Right, they might think I'm over the top, you know.
Exactly.
Right, I might lose my job.
I might not even get my promotion or hike this year.
So as you've gone along and you found that this is becoming very big, well, what's the end of the road for all this?
Okay, so I'll tell you something shocking.
Please.
So of all the 5,000 clients we've seen, majority of them are the age group of 18 to 30, like I mentioned, from metros. So the next thing is to start reaching out to people in tier 2 and tier 3 locations.
Yes.
And in this 5,000 people who have taken the mental health support, 4,000 of them are women. So I don't know why guys don't take therapy. There are different reasons, but a few of my mentors said in India they bring up kids by saying as a guy you should never cry. So that's been rooted into you from day one, right?
Yes.
So guys tend to open up a little later, so that's taking time. But our vision is, Jennifer, like let's say if I tell you hospital, which brand is coming to your mind?
Apollo, really.
Apollo, yeah, right? So if I tell you cabs, which brand comes to your mind?
Well, Uber or Ola,
Exactly.
yes.
But when I tell you mental health in India, is there a brand that comes to you? So we want to be that brand in the coming decade.
No, not at all. It doesn't occur to me at all, you
Exactly.
know.
So
have you been able to do any psychology training yourself, or has
no.
that
So
ended?
I don't involve myself in the counseling support to individuals because that's not my forte.
Right.
I take care of the management. We have a co-founder who's a psychologist. So she takes care of the technical part.
So that's very interesting. Do the psychologists ever come back to the company and say how the session went, or do they actually report back? Have you got some kind of a survey system that works?
Yes, so we have a quality team where after every session, the interns call the clients and check with them how the sessions have gone. They are basically psychology graduates. And then if they raise any red flags like the session was not that great, then we report it to a senior psychologist who addresses the issue.
Okay. Do people resent the fact that we have now the world and his wife really looking at my mental health, and is that something that we have to fight against in India, that people should become more open about this whole thing?
So I think this can happen very quickly. So I'm sure this will take maybe a decade or two.
That's a long time.
Yeah, but this can happen very quickly. There's a shortcut to it.
What is that shortcut?
If a lot of celebrities come open up and talk about it, saying that I've been taking therapy and it helped, then it will work out. For instance, Amir Khan, the Bollywood actor,
Yes.
his daughter has been seeking therapy for the last 8 years, and she's very open about it on her platform, and he's very open about his daughter. So if more people like them, like Deepika from Bollywood talks about mental health.
Exactly.
So they're just one or two people. There's nobody from South India who talks about mental health.
Have you tried to get hold of people who are actually involved, or don't they want to be involved at all?
So I did try to get in touch with them, but they don't want to open up yet because they feel like it might affect their reputation as a person. But it's changing. So if let's say 10-20 celebrities all at once come and talk about it in a year, I think it will fast forward everything, because in India we follow celebrities, right?
Yes, cricketers.
Exactly. So is there any one cricketer in India who's spoken about mental health?
I don't know. Is that the fact?
Yeah, I think Virat Kohli has spoken about it a little, but beyond that, not many. Nobody else.
So what's the way people like you are going to increase awareness about this whole issue of mental health?
So we are trying our best. We go to a lot of schools and colleges. We've already covered colleges like SRM, VIT and Newton School, where we do free mental health workshops for them.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So
what is that workshop about? Tell me.
So we just go to class 8, 9, 10 kids and we address them, giving them what are the common symptoms around mental health. How do you spot your friends who are going through something? So if you can spot them early, you can like prevent something from bad happening. And we also train the teachers on how do you spot kids who are going through something. So we educate them on the basics of mental health in schools and colleges for free.
So Karthik, do you think that mental health is almost I don't know if it's the right way to put this, but is it the first step towards people maybe suicidal or something like that?
Yes, see, suicide is the end stage, but
Hence, I would have thought so.
Yeah, but before somebody gets there, there are a lot of events that pile up to it. So what if you stop it in the start? It's like, let's say if you have a stomach pain and if you leave it unaddressed for several years, it might lead to something severe.
Yes.
So, but you need to address it in the start. One more thing, when I went to investors to seeking funds to raise for the company, we've just raised a small capital. There was one investor who said, I don't like the term mental health because there's mental in it. Can you just change the term to something like mind wellness or some, I mean, like, how can I change the core term of what people...
Yes, and that is what you're dealing with. You're dealing with mental health, which belongs to the mind and no other part of your system.
Like you just change the term to holistic wellness or give some fancy term so the word mental is not there in it.
No, I don't think. I think I agree with you on that point. Yes. So who came up with this word of the mind in the company?
So it was my wife. So how it happened is I wanted to start an Instagram page. I just called her and told her, I'll give you a minute. Before you hang up this call, give me a name for a mental health company. So that's when she told, okay, the mind needs company, so it's the mind and company.
It's very, very,
so
very
me and my wife
interesting.
Run it together, and it's not possible for me to run it without her, and same for her. So we're a team, and that's how it goes.
Right. How is this doing financially? Is it a good business? Not a business idea, but is it profitable?
So to be very honest, in these 5 years, if I had spent this time on some other business, the returns I would have got could have been much, much higher. This is slowly growing. So it's not a loss making one, but it's a very low profit making at this point because we pay most of what we earn to our psychologist. So we give out 70% of what we earn to our psychologist and we keep only 30%. But this will grow at scale.
Right.
So when we hire more psychologists and when more people start opening up for therapy, then it becomes a very good profit making business.
Right. Tell me, the person who's come to you seeking mental health, the psychologist whom you put in touch with that person, do they actually meet physically or is that all online?
It is 90% online through Zoom or Google Meet. 10% of our sessions happen in Chennai, Coimbatore, Bangalore, which happens in person like this.
So do they first meet on Zoom and then meet in person, or does it work the other way around? How does it happen?
Both separate. So all the three options. Some of them meet only virtually, some meet only in person, and some meet hybrid. So once online, once offline. And these sessions go for about 45 minutes to 1 hour. And everything you talk in these therapy sessions are fully confidential. Not me, not anybody else in the company will know what's happening. For example, if you are the psychologist and I'm the client, except us, nobody else will know what's happening. And if the data gets shared outside, you can even sue the company and sue the psychologist. But nobody does it because every psychologist maintains that confidentiality, and these sessions go on for months, sometimes even years, depending upon the need. It's usually once a week. And once the client starts getting better and meeting their goals, it becomes once in 2 weeks and once a month.
How easy was it for you to get psychologists to do this kind of stuff?
Not easy because in India still there's a huge demand for psychologists.
Is it?
Because if you see the last 5 years, the number of students who are pursuing psychology as a career has increased drastically. That's because the current younger generation is taking up therapy. So I'm sure that the subsequent generations will be open to it, and that's why I said it will take a decade or two for it to become normalized.
How do you see your own company going forward? Is there any other avenue you could finally pursue, or you're happy with what you're doing?
Of course, I'm happy with the journey because only when you enjoy the journey, you will be happy with the
results.
Success.
Yes,
yeah.
That's true. Yes,
but we still have a very, very long way to go. We want to expand it more globally. First become a pan-India brand and then expand globally.
Your family, of course, run a very successful medical business, pharmaceutical company, a store. But I was just wondering that you never ever thought of going into that? Did your parents try to persuade you?
No, they did talk to me initially, but see, I have to say this on to you because most Indian families don't allow their kids to take a risk and get into a business because we don't know how the future looks like.
Yes.
I did two things. After clearing my CA, I quit and started teaching. So I also take classes for CA students and I run this company. Both were, when I started the first 2 years, there was no financial support for me. it was only my parents, my dad and mom who said, okay, you go do it, you love this, go follow this. So they did support me financially. I didn't earn enough back then, so they supported me, and wouldn't have been possible without their support. My dad's still there at the pharmacy, so he takes care of it, and whatever little help I can do, I do, but it's 100% his effort.
Well, your dad has been my pharmacist for years and years and years, probably about 30 years to date almost.
I think he's given his life to it. He's been there for about
Indeed.
70 years.
Absolutely.
That's his oxygen.
Absolutely. And I've been hearing all about you from your dad for many, many years myself. Tell me about the teaching of CA. How does that work? Is that good business? Do you still do it?
Yeah, that's where I earn my livelihood from. So I still do it. So me and my wife take classes for CA students. We train students to become chartered accountants, and what we earn from that is enough to run the family, and the surplus there gets invested into the mental health company.
Into the mental health, yes. Do you see it becoming more profitable as you go along?
The CA one or the mental health?
No, not the CA, the mental one.
The mental health, absolutely yes.
Really? Yes. You talk with a great deal of confidence when you say that.
I'm
on
very
what
confident.
basis? You are why? Yeah. How?
So I'm sure at least 1,000 people watching this will now know what therapy is, and they may try it, right? So I'm sure in a decade or two, or even much earlier, when more people open up for therapy, that's when the business is going to boom. So there are some numbers. They call it the CAGR rate, and to be more specific, WHO said the next pandemic is going to be mental health crisis.
Really?
So everybody is going through something. They're just dealing with it on different modes, like they tend to use tobacco or alcohol, or they use other drugs or substances to deal with it. But very soon people are going to come to therapy because that's the long-term solution.
Do you think that mental health itself will eventually reach, even the rural areas, and do you think that might snowball?
It will take its time, but I really hope it does, because at least in metros of India, people know what is mental health and therapy, but they want to stay away from it. But in rural India's, people don't even know what the term mental health or therapy is. So it will take its time, because like how every business reaches rural areas last, this will also take some time to get there.
So have you got your sights, honed down to that? Do you think you might eventually do something like that?
We haven't gone there in person because we don't have the resources or bandwidth to go there, to be very honest. But we do do a lot of content on social media, so it reaches them through reels and videos.
When you first started your business, what did you do about finance? How did you manage? Did it require a lot of investment in the beginning?
Not really, because we weren't a brick and mortar company
Okay.
So we were more of a virtual company. So I needed a small investment where I had some savings, and my dad helped me out with some capital, and that was enough to set up the website and hire the initial staff.
Do you see other companies coming in and then there being more competition for you in this industry?
I'm very happy with more competition. I think there are
Why do you say that?
I think there are about 300 mental health companies in India.
Really?
Yeah, and every company that comes in is going to start building awareness, right? So more companies coming in, the awareness becomes bigger and the market widens. So at least for the next 5 years, I'm happy with competition.
You've talked about the age group of 18 to say maybe the early 20s or the mid 20s.
Yeah.
What about beyond that? Of course, I mean, you've got like maybe a 32 or 50-year-old person who could very well be having a mental health problem. What about them?
So they ignore it. I mean, we have clients till age 30, 35, but after 35 and people in 40s and 50s, we have very, very few clients. I can count the number of clients we have.
Really?
Yeah. So most people in that age tend to ignore it. So if I ask my mom, if I asked her like, why have you never tried therapy? She was like, I never knew this existed and I don't know if I can go for it now. So they've just accepted whatever has happened to them and they don't see it as an option.
So in point of fact, you do not see an older generation actually going towards mental health issues, and they probably don't even talk about it, do they?
Yes. It's a much bigger stigma over there. Hopefully it changes, but I do see a few people coming and taking therapy even from the older generation.
Right. I want to finally ask you, you said that you went for a few sessions yourself. Yes. What did they do with you at those sessions? I mean,
so I have seen 7 therapists so far.
7?
Yes, because it takes time to find the right therapist. So it's like you get the compatibility and the trust match, right? So the first 6 therapists, I tried only 1 or 2 sessions. Somehow I didn't feel like you're my therapist. I didn't get that bond. So my 7th therapist was with whom I had the bond. I did about 30 sessions with her. And what happens is I went to her with a problem, told her what I was going through. We used to connect every weekly or at least twice a month, and she used to work on my thought process, help me feel better and help me start working towards my goals.
Right. The final question I'm going to ask you is, how do you match a therapist with the person who's coming with a mental health problem? How do you combine the two? How do you say, okay, you go to this doctor, you go to this psychologist? How does that work finally?
That's a very good question, because it's not like a cab where you just match with a random cab.
Exactly.
So here at this point, what we're doing is we talk to the client, understand their problems or needs, understand their language preference and budget, and we match with which therapist could work best for this. But in the future, we are building a model using AI, where the AI talks to every therapist and knows the character of each therapist. The AI talks to the client, understands your character, and the AI does the matchmaking.
So you in fact are using the more modern techniques of this whole thing, and obviously it's doing very well for your company. And I need to say thank you so much, Karthik. Thank you for coming here. It was really interesting to talk to you. Well, we've had a very good time talking about mental health, and I'm sure that you out there watching this have learned a few small things, as I have learned many things by talking to Karthik here. It's been a pleasure to have him here. Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure to talk to you, ma'am. It's like one of my bucket list is checked.
But I do appreciate your time, and I know you're a busy man. I'd better let you go to all the people who need the help that you offer them. It's been great, and I hope that you've had a good time listening to us. Until the next time, you take care. Bye for now.